Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works. It's been about 12 hours since we've filmed something. We've now got our engine back from Empire. Omar ran it up to us earlier this morning after he's put dialed the cams in and put the covers and stuff on. So while I was waiting for the engine this morning, I prepped the bay, cleaned the torque converter, run a tap through all the thread holes in the torque converter because they previously had Loctite in them. So it's always a good idea to clean the old Loctite out before you go putting new stuff in. After getting the engine back up with the flex plate and the engine backing plate and the alternator and some other bits and pieces on it. So we're ready to throw the sucker in. So let's get cracking. You guys may be wondering why we were just sanding and grinding on the bell housing. Unfortunately, in my excitement to put the engine in, I forgot to shorten the locating dowels that go into the bell housing. Factory, the Ford obviously runs quite a thick flange on the bell housing because it's a aluminium bell housing, whether it be a manual or an automatic transmission. Obviously, we've got this steel QuickTime bell housing here, and the flange is only about 5 or 6 millimeters thick. So as a result, the dowel actually protrudes past the back edge of the bell housing. So when you tighten the bolt, it actually bottoms out on the dowel before it actually clamps the bell housing to the engine. So as a result of that, we just sand them down. As I mentioned, we normally just chop them off before we put it in, but if you do have a QuickTime bell housing behind a Barra, make sure you shorten those shorten those dowels, because you can never clamp it properly. And in my opinion, you do really need those 2 bolts in there. Even though I don't think QuickTime actually planned for bolts to go back in there, I would definitely recommend to put them back in. We just torqued all the flex plate to torque converter bolts twice now with the torque wrench. 74 newton meters is the torque spec that Peter Hughes gave us for these bolts. We've also put a touch of Loctite on there, so that'll nip them up and hopefully hold them in the right spot. So we've also marked it. Every time we torque each bolt, we'll mark it. So I've gone down for the first mark and then across for the second one. So that gives you a visual confirmation that you've torqued that bolt twice. It basically stops you missing any, and you know 100% that you've done them. You don't have to manually count 8 bolts every time, even though it's not an overly sort of hardcore task. It's easy to get distracted or go and pick something up and forget what bolt you're up to. So a nice visual aid is just to mark it every time you torque it. And then, double check it. I'd recommend to torque each bolt twice. So just come around now, and they've both been marked twice, or they've all been marked twice. So we're good to continue. been going up and down, had to put the dump pipe in. There's like a pretty specific way you have to put all the exhaust manifolding and the dump pipe and the wastegate set up in the turbo on this. You kind of got to jigsaw it all together. If you put one piece in, the rest of it won't fit. So we're halfway through the process of that. We've now got the exhaust manifold and the dump pipe on. Next comes the wastegate. And then we can put the turbo on. We've got everything back in the bay. As far as I can tell, it's all sweet. So I've just disconnected the crank angle sensor so we can spin it over. I want to get oil pressure before we even try and start anything. There is engine assembly lubricant, so it'll be safe to turn it over, but obviously we don't want to go running it with no oil pressure in the bearings and obviously killing everything before it's even got a chance to be beaten to death on the track. So much prefer to, I'd actually much prefer never to break it again, but in actual reality it's probably going to break sooner or later, being that it's a highly strung drag car. But I'm pretty excited to spin it over, get some oil pressure. I've just got the Haltech diagnostics page up so I can see oil pressure, spin it up and have a look at it, and hopefully we're having a win. Sweet, we've got 90 psi oil pressure pretty much straight away cranking it, about 20 seconds. So that new hardcore billet oil pump's doing its job pretty well. Pretty excited to see what that actually does long term. Now the fun time, we reconnect the crank angle sensor and see if it actually runs. Cranking, clear prop. We've had a super productive day today with the CRESTA. We've got our engine back in, it's all running sweet. We've checked the live data on the Haltech, coolant temp's good, oil pressure's good, oil temp's good. So all of our vitals look fantastic. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to tune it yet. I've got to speak to Scotty at Haltech tomorrow to work out when's good for him. I have located a hub dyno that we can use at short notice, which is fantastic as well. So we're going to get it all sorted. I'm pretty confident that we're going to make it to Summernats. I kind of feel like we're pitching all this discovery drama, but this has literally been the last 3 days of my life, has been pulling the engine out, building the engine with Omar and putting it back in today. So I'm very emotionally, physically and mentally drained, but I know I don't show any excitement or emotion right now, but I am super happy, but I'm also cooked. So yeah, thanks for watching. And also a big thanks to Omar at Empire. He's always backed us, he's always helped us out, and yeah, helped us out with this engine late last night. I got home at like 3 o'clock or something crazy. So, and then yeah, he went back this morning and actually finished it off and brought it out to us. So yeah, huge thanks again to Omar at Empire, and thanks for watching guys, see you later.